Hi everyone, how's everyone doing? I hope that you are excited that it's almost the end of the semester. So for this week, I want to share with you guys a few things about the concept of iteration. First up, iteration is this idea of continuous improvement and doing the process again and again. There's a quote that says, "Great design is the iteration of good design." Let me say that again. Great design is the iteration of good design. So what does that mean? It means that in order for us to achieve something great, we got to repeat the process and make things better and better over time. Iteration is also often linked to this idea of a growth mindset, that one is constantly looking at ways to improve, the idea of do, learn, and repeat. So for your ICA 2 project up to now, you should have come up with your first prototype and gone out to test and get feedback from some people. So what's next? What's next is iteration. As a group, you will need to discuss, evaluate, and decide what to do next for your iteration. Should you go and interview more stakeholders to better understand the issues that they face? Or should you relook at the how might we problem statement that you had worked on previously? Or should you ideate for more solutions? Or should you modify your prototype? Or should you just do more testing because your feedback is not conclusive? To decide on what to do for iteration, a good place to start will be to study the feedback that you have received from your testing stage and to map them out using this project assessment guide. As you can see from this project assessment guide, there are three main scenarios described for us. Scenario 1 is when, from the feedback that you have gathered during your test stage, you heard things from the people that you talked to along the lines of, "It's interesting, but can I go now? I've never really found myself in that situation." Well, if you heard those comments, it might mean that you haven't really quite found the opportunity yet. So you may want to consider going back to the empathize stage or the define stage to better identify pain points and craft a better how might we problem statement. Scenario 2 is when, from the feedback during your test stage, you heard something along the lines of, "You know what would be a great idea?" Or, "This is definitely an issue for me, but ... If you heard that kind of comments, it might mean that your team has found an interesting opportunity, but hasn't really quite found a good solution yet. So you may want to consider then going back to the ideate stage to look for more ideas or to refine your idea. Scenario 3 is when, from the feedback during your test stage, you heard something along the lines of, "I totally need this," or "How do I get one?" or "Is this available somewhere?" If you hear this kind of comments, it might mean that your team has found an interesting opportunity as well as a promising solution. So if you hear that, you may want to further improve your prototype and maybe do more testing to validate and confirm your solution. So now that you've understood what iteration is and what to do for iteration, it's time for you to apply it to your ICA 2 project. Have fun with iteration and all the best for the completion of your project.